I'm gonna say it. You pioneered like filming from the front.
Yeah.
Like people, bro,
Yeah.
people were tripping on you because you were the best videographer to film from the. You would always film lines from the front, and people would be like, "Dude, that's so sick."
Thank you.
Yeah, but you did though. You but why were you thinking you wanted to film from the front, or because you obviously you remember filming from the front?
I do. What I remember clicking, kind of after a certain point, was understanding that I could control the way you saw a trick.
Okay.
And I was in the driver's seat, you know? So, and that kind of, that's kind of like, sounds like a power trip type of thing, but that's how I got really excited about that. So if I shoot it from this direction, you know,
you're going to see the flip do this and see the person's body and the foot.
But you're also not going to see what's coming next.
Yeah.
And so there's going to be like an element of surprise, you know? And so like just understanding like where a camera could be and create it with a little bit more kinetic energy and make it a little bit more dynamic or make it a little bit more mysterious. You know, I specifically remember, this is in Mouse. Eric grinds a white bar at the old Santa Monica Mall,
the mall.
The mall, right, with palm trees.
Is it white and black, whatever?
On bricks, there were bricks.
There's bricks, exactly, yeah. And so I shot that from the front because he did a couple, and I filmed one long lens, and it just wasn't feeling right. And so I was like, well, if I film this from the front, then it's gonna probably make the bar maybe look a little longer than it is, but you're also not gonna know you're not gonna know when the ending's coming. You know, so I was like, okay. And then there was these palm trees, and like, it's funny, like once you kind of figure out and feel where the camera should be, the right place for the camera, all this other stuff kind of comes into play. It all just kind of works. And so that one was like, okay, and then he did it, you know, 2 tries later. And boom, it was done, you know, but it was like, it was just long, and you just had no idea where he's going or where it's going to end. You know, the same one with, there's a line of guy in his part at was it LA High, where the brick banks in the so
the no side?
Inside the school. Where's there's that handrail.
You were changing the shutter speed on that.
Exposure.
I'm sorry.
Exposure. But it was the same thing. So he does like a half cab heel over a trash can. Again, like I didn't want you to see the first obstacle he was going to hit. I wanted that to be a surprise. And so boom, he pops it, and then like the trash can comes into frame. And it's like really kind of, I thought it was really exciting. But then he cruises into this dark hallway, and like I was panicking, man, because like for that shot, like you had to know where the iris dial was on the camera, and I had to take a reading basically of the exposure on the trash can and the exposure on the handrail.
How many clicks it is?
And I had to feel how many bumps it was, because you couldn't. I mean, is
this a VX?
No, this is
high 8.
It's a high 8.
Still high 8.
Yeah,
Okay.
Mouse was all filmed with high 8.
Okay.
Yeah, there's like maybe 2 clips in Mouse with the VX 1000, and that's it.
So you're clicking the iris, is what you
exactly
and figuring out
you
like
can feel like every stop.
Well, it kind of bumps. So like you feel it go like gung 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 gung, and so like there's no flip out monitor. You know, so you can't look down and see like where you're at.
You're filming by
f-stop, you know. You just
feel.
You just know. You just know. But then so he does the half cab heel, and he's hauling towards that rail. I'm like, oh God, he's gonna do it. And I'm reaching down, and I couldn't feel the iris. I couldn't find it. It was, you know, and I was like, oh my God, I was panicking. And then all of a sudden I got it, and it was like, and it was 8 clicks. I remember it was 8 clicks to get from the trash can to the handrail, and I know I felt 7, and then if you see right before he hits that rail, it goes up one more, and I hit the 8th click. Yeah.
So that was a heavy line too, man.
I know. I mean, he's probably going to pull it. You know, so you got to get that right.
You know he's going to pull it. Yeah, absolutely. So it's come full circle, you know, filming from the front. I appreciate that. Yeah. Thanks. It just, my whole thing was like trying to show skating the best way I could, and again, like I loved and respected these guys so much, and I wanted it to be as good, you know, for anybody watching as it is for me sitting right there, you know, and make it make it dynamic, you know. So
I love it because I never even thought about the whole like being surprised by what's coming next. Like I just see the filming from the front, and you see the guy coming at you, and then you filmed a line of Daniel Castillo, I think, in the hallway. At some school in Torrance, maybe.
Torrance. Yeah,
But
I think he had to cruise around and do his nose grind.
I think so, right. But it was fully from the front, and like I was just, I mean, great.
Thanks,
I don't
man.
think you filmed anything of me in the front.
No,
maybe.
I don't think so.
No.
Dude, when I got hired in 2008, whatever, to work for Girl, like I made it a point to like try and shoot in front.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Huh.
All the time.
Wow. Well, thanks.
Look
guy.
at that, huh?
I remember one thing I hadn't seen really before was like trying to shoot like crisscross, basically. So
What do you mean?
well, it's like if you're say you're skating like those West High rails and you're doing
flat bars, yeah.
those flat bars and you're gonna do your trick. Like I would try to like time it so as the trick was going like this way, I was whipping past that way. You know,
The Josh Stewart move.
Right.
does he do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, so you would.
I call
right.
it. I just call it the crisscross. Yeah.
So if I do 50-50,
It's like two shifts
you're
at
coming
night.
from one way, and
Right.
then I pull it, and then you cross,
I
and then
think-
now you're filming from the other side.
Well, you just kind of like whip past them really fast.
Yeah.
I think in cinematographer, if I'm not mistaken, Guy at LA High, he does like a frontside tail slide on those brick inclines.
yeah.
And I try to crisscross it, you know, that type of thing. Because I always, again, like I
Adds
don't.
more speed to it too.
It'll just make it more interesting, make it more dynamic, you know, like make it more fun to watch.
Totally.
You know, is simply put. So
What about that one line where he does the nose side to fakie and then the switchback tail and he turns
That
around?
turnaround?
Yeah, but like when he did that and he did the switch shove at nose side?
at LA High.
Yeah. What was your like when you watched when he did it? Was he just kind of messing around when he did that?
Yes and no. I mean, whenever you're skating with Guy, it's always just fun, you know. So no, he was completely serious, like trying to get that line.
Yeah.
But I remember it was just me, him, and then I had like a friend of mine who I would skate a long time ago back in the days, guy Bert. Like it was the three of us there. I remember he's like, "Okay, Bert, this one's for you, man. I'm gonna do it right now." And like he threw it down and he did it. But the thing about that line is after he did the switch backside tail and then he turned around.
Yeah, that was incredible.
That turnaround is unbelievable.
Yeah.
The one thing I did try to do, if you watch that specific line back, is when he comes into the frame to do the nose slide to come around, like I try to keep the camera as perfectly still on those brick banks as I possibly could. So like the bank is almost like a still object. And he comes in and he slams into it and then comes down because the patterns of the bricks too were doing like this really interesting thing visually. And so I realized if I kept the camera like as still as possible in the exact same spot and didn't try to like do any kind of swerve motion with it, it just made it made it look cooler.
Wow.
You know? And so, but the thing I was going to say is when he did that switch backside tail and then turned around, that was the first time he made it. And I didn't know where we were going. I swear. Like
He didn't tell you what the whole line was?
maybe
Follow
I knew,
me.
maybe
Yeah.
basically it was like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do? Yeah.
Right.
And then he did the switch pop shove
Nose
nose,
slide.
and then came down and
Yeah.
like that was first try.
like created like history with the turnaround.
With the turnaround, that's what everybody talks about.
Sick.
And the funny thing, like I watched that footage back too, and I like it, but the lens is filthy.
Oh, is it?
If you look at it,
It's a
like
little dirty, yeah.
it's super dirty, but I'm kind of okay with it, you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
because that spot's kind of dirty too, you know, so it kind of all
It
works.
adds
Yeah.
to the. I like that.
Yeah, but no, that's the thing about that line is that I didn't know where we were
That's
off
funny.
to. We were off to the races. Yeah, because Guy, he's just like, dude, we could just be going down the street.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Right.
so
He'll just
cool.
keep going.
He'll just keep going
Right.
with it.
Guy
Yeah.
Mariano.
So like one thing I do want to say about Guy's part being as phenomenal and
yeah.
unbelievable as it was.
In Mouse.
In Mouse.
Yes.
In Mouse.
You shot it all?
I shot it all. Yeah. Have I told this
That's
story
amazing.
before? Have I
That's
told? Yes,
amazing.
I have. I'm
Raj
proud of-
is a video. He knows.
proud of
He
that.
knows.
You should
Yeah,
be
you
proud. It's
know.
amazing.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, because that's the thing. It's like, how many people contribute to videos? How many different filmers do you have?
yeah.
You have like, you know, this guy over here, this guy over there type of thing, right?
Totally.
So, no, like when Guy set out to do his Mouse part, you could tell from the very beginning, you know, that he was 100% serious about it, you know, because as you know, he didn't have much footage in Goldfish, if anything.
Yeah.
He was completely MIA when we shot Paco.
Yeah.
And then he was back, you know, and I never saw it like, this is a comeback bar, you know, I just was like, oh, Guy's reinvigorated, you know,
Yeah.
you know, so I was stoked and I was like, I was along for the ride, and whatever he wanted to do, I was down to do.
There
Yeah,
you go.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, all the Guys' footage in Mouse is stuff. I shot all of it.
The opening at Adams over the bum.
That was heavy, dude.
That was
Switch big flip back then. I was like, what?
What's the song, dude?
Yeah.
That Watermelon song?
Yeah. So everything about that too. Yeah, the fact that they use it as an opener, the fact that Adams had been, and I'm guilty of it too, just kind of sitting in front of the bump and just shooting, you know, like at the same angle. So yeah, when we were there, and what would happen too is like you'd have 10 guys skating, so you couldn't really do anything different, you know?
Yeah, you're stuck there.
You're just kind of, you got to get everybody, you know? So that's the spot you got to be. But no, when he did that trick, it was like me, him, Joey Sorrell, and like a couple of other people. That was the other thing. When Guy was doing his part, it was just like 3-4 people at the most, you know, if it just wasn't me and him, you know, there's hardly that many people.
Did he have
around.
tricks in mind? Like, hey, let's go to Adams and I want to get this, or?
I think he did, but he didn't tell him. Like when he did,
like when I worked with him, we were pretty sweet. He was probably the most professional dude. He'd be like, hey, meet me at, you know, this school at like 10 a.m.
Right.
I'll get there. He'd be like, oh, I got here at 9. I'm ready. Get your camera.
Really?
And he'd get it like within 3-4 tries.
He would just bang it out.
Yeah.
Huh? Wow. He never. If we were skating a spot, I would ask him like what he was gonna maybe do, so I knew where to go, because like so much of his part is lines, you know. But yeah, he wasn't like, yeah, we're gonna go to Adams and I'm gonna do this, you know. Like he would just start doing something, you know. And so for that Adams clip, I just was like, dude, I got to make this place look different. You know, like we've seen this thing a million times.
Totally.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, let me go over here and like, oh yeah, like
go on the sidewalk.
I was like, I was on the other side. It was like this chain link fence, you know? And so like I saw a bench and I was like, oh, let me sit down here and like kind of looking through the fence, and I was like, okay, this could be cool. And so like I took the fisheye off and then I started doing kind of like this pan across the fence and then rack focusing to Guy, like through this very particular spot. In the fence.
Wow.
Because it's not easy at all.
No, well, no. Like,
because it's blurry. It's blurry, and then he comes into front, and then you focus on him.
Yeah, it's like you're not sure exactly, because a chain link fence is a chain link fence. They all look the same. Sure. You're not sure exactly which one it is, and
it's hard to land on that
exact
square.
That exact square. Yeah, absolutely. I was like, what am I doing? Like I'm gonna blow this. Yeah, like seriously, that's what I thought. You know, I'm like, I'm gonna fuck this up. You know, the one try before the one he made, I racked the wrong way.
Oh, and he made it.
No. The try before that.
Gotcha.
Because like after each one, I would quickly watch him back in camera to make sure like the move was correct and the focus was on point. And so yeah, he did it, and I'm like, that's not right. And I looked, you know, I was like, holy shit, like I gotta rack the other way. Like, what are you doing?
Right.
You know, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be bad. You know, but then the next one, like just right across, like you just kind of feel it. I felt like the right distance. I hit it. I racked. He made it.
Wow.
He rolled away. I was like, whew,
history is made. Yeah.
Well, it was cool, and I was like, I just felt like, okay, this is a nice moment. Like, who knew it was going to be like his opening clip, right? Yeah.
Totally. You're filming a clip.
I was filming a clip, trying to make it look different again, you know, and it all worked out.
When you were filming that part, were people aware that he was like just going to come out with a part like that, or did people get so? Because I wasn't at any premiere back in the day.
Right,
I just started skating. Were they like, after Eric's part came out, were they just like, holy shit, Guy Mariano? Or
it's like, it's hard to answer, or it's hard to know because of being in the middle of it all. Yeah. You know, but I don't think there was a lot of hype. I don't think people knew that Guy had a full part. Like, I don't think people knew that, okay, this is going to be his next big part since Video Days. I don't think that it was understood with, you know, everybody that was a part of making the video. Yeah. Like we knew what he was doing, and like even those who weren't a part of it would ask me, like, because we would go skate and we would get clips, and then we would meet up with everybody else, and Eric would be like, "What do you get?" You know, I'm serious, and I was like, "Oh, you did this," you know, because like how you would come to my house and watch footage, like those days were done. You know, we didn't do that anymore, and we also, you know. It was funny. It was amazing to talk about that, like seeing like a tape at Girl, and like when he was cutting FTC, and they would watch this tape, and it was like all the raw footage of the stuff that we shot. I thought I remember him telling a story about that.
Maybe I wasn't really listening to Mason,
but we did when we were filming for Mouse. I would make this master VHS tape where people could then come in and see what everybody else was getting.
Okay.
So like all the raw
tape.
so all the raw stuff was safe. Yeah. You know? And so after a certain point though, I think we kind of stopped putting guys' stuff on there because even like within the crew, like he wanted it to be a surprise and like that kind of thing.
Okay.
So did people know like yes and no, you know, like they heard, like he went out, but like when he did switch backside tail beneficial and to shove out, like it was me, him, and Mike York. That's it, you know, like on a Saturday morning, and he's like, let's go to Benny. I got a chick at beneficial. I'm like, okay, great, you know, and like it was insane.